بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن عبد الله بن مسعود قال نفلني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يوم بدر سيف أبي جهل وكان قتله رواه Abu Dawud. The Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that on the day of Badr, he said Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave him the sword of Abu Jahl. You know, this was in excess of his share. So as he had killed him. So we find also, as we know, that in the Battle of Badr, Abu Jahl was killed by two young boys, of the Ansar. Right? So Sayyidina Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he also had a hand in the entire killing of, together with these boys. He was the one that severed his, um, he had like severed his head from his torso, right? So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, yeah, gave him the sword, right, that belonged to Abu Jahl. So we know the two boys that stood on either side of him, of Abu Jahl. They pointed out Abu Jahl to them, and when they rushed to him and they attacked him. They were Mu'adh and Mu'awwad, right? Mu'adh bin Amr and Mu'awwad bin Afra. And Abdullah bin Mas'ud was the one that did the last hitting. He severed his head, right, when he was panting for breath. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they also gave him a share of that. He gave him the sword, like we mentioned. The one who kills, falahu salabu, isn't? We mentioned so. That's why Nabi Sallallahu gave him a share as well. نعم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن أمير مولى أبي اللحم قال شهدت خيبر مع سادتي فكلموا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وكلموه أني مملوك فأمرني فقلدت سيفا فإذا أنا أجره فأمر لي بشيء من خرذي المتاع وعرضت عليه ركية كنت أركي بها المجانين فأمرني بطرح بعضها وحبس بعضها. رواه الترمذي وأبو داود إلا أن روايته انتهت عند قوله المتاع. Sayyidina Umayr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the freedman of Abu Laham radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that I did participate in the battle of Khaybar with my masters. So they had spoken about me with Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I also could be assigned, fighting or in his service. So they told me that I was a slave. He told him that I was a slave, and he gave command about me, and his sword was girded on me. He says, I tried it being young and short, statured and short both, and I was instructed to join the warriors after the battle. So he says, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered that I should be given some petty small things there from the booty. Then I presented to him a spell that I used to chant over the majanin, those who were insane, and blow on them. So I asked about it, and he instructed me to discard of it some and retain some. So I mean that could have been there because of the spell being irreligious, right? Or having things which Nabi Islam didn't approve. Therefore, Nabi Islam said, instructed him to discard them. Mm. I like hurled him, threw at him. Mm. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mm. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mm. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن مجمع بن جارية قال قسمت خيبر على أهل الحديبية فقسمها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم 18 سهما وكان الجيش 1500 فيه 300 فارس فأعطى الفارس سهمين والراجل سهما. رواه أبو داود. قال حديث ابن عمر أصح والعمل عليه. وأتى الوهم في حديث مجمع أنه قال 300 فارس وإنما كانوا 200 فارس. Spoils and land at Khaybar was divided among those who had been at 18 posts. So the army at Hudaybiyah, 100 of them whom were horsemen. So Abu Dawud was transmitted, it says the Hadith of Ibn Umar is more sound and is most ulama, they follow it. So there is ambiguity in this tradition of Mujammi because he gives the number of horsemen as 300 while they were only 200. Ibn Umar, but names Abu Muawiyah, right? So this hadith, like we mentioned previously, also there was some ikhtilafat as 3 shares and 2 shares. This is also the part of this hadith that Imam Abu Hanifa takes, and others follow also that Nabi Islam allotted or 2 shares, right, is allotted for a horse rider from the booty. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No. No. وعن حبيب بن مسلمة الفهري قال شهدت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نفل ربع في البدءة وثلث في الرجعة. رواه Habib bin Maslama, Fihri radiallahu anhu, he said that I observed in the battle that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave an extra 1/4 of booty, right, to those who fought. So in the beginning and 1/3 more towards those who return, right, to those who fought. So yeah, basically, if a separate army, a separate group, right, of a Muslim army, they preceded the main body. In other words, they went ahead right beforehand to engage the enemy. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, yeah, would give them one fourth of the booty, right, as a basically a special case. And then when the remaining booty of three fourths was divided again, then the share would they would get another share like from the entire army. So in the same manner, also we find in when the main body returned from the battlefield and a separate group would stood their ground to keep the enemy engaged also, then they were also given, as a reward, one third of the booty over and above, obviously they share at least remaining from the distribution of the entire army. So one third also was given to them as a reward because of their task, was very risky. They had to either go before them or stay behind. So that also to encourage him and encourage their bravery, since obviously the main army basically was now behind them, to support them. So as for the engagement, before the rest of the forces arrived, they would go there, and so Nabi Sallam would give them an extra um, of the extra share. So also one who also narrates that under Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says كان ينفل الربع بعد الخمس والثلث بعد الخمس إذا قفل. Sayyidina Habib bin Maslam al-Fihri radiallahu anhu also gave an additional one fourth of the booty after retaining and keeping the one fifth to the separate or the detachment army. That is those that went ahead before the arrival of the main body. Then he gave one third of the booty sallallahu alaihi wasallam after retaining the one fifth of the humus to the separate army to engage the enemy after the main body already returned. So, like we mentioned, this hadith clarifies the previous hadith by saying that before giving the reward of one fifth to those who went ahead, right, and one third to those who kept the enemy engaged while returning, then the humus, the 50, was deducted from the booty. So once the one fourth and one third reward was given, then the booty was now divided among the entire army. Right? So they would first get their share from that. Those who stayed in the, right, for those who stayed behind and then also. وعن أبي الجويرية الجرمي قال أصبت بأرض الروم جرة حمراء فيها دنانير في امرأة معاوية وعلينا رجل من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من بني سليم يقال له معن بن يزيد فأتيته بها فقسمها بين المسلمين وأعطاني منها مثل ما أعطى رجلا منهم ثم قال لولا إني سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا نفل إلا بعد الخمس لأعطيتك. رواه Abu Dawud. Sayyidina Abu al-Juwayriyah Jarmi radiallahu ta'ala who said that when Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala was the Amir, he said, I found a red jar containing dinars in the land of the Byzantine. So our commander was one of the Sahaba, the companions of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, uh, belonging to the Banu Sulaim by the name of Ma'ni bin Yazid radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, I took the jar to him and he divided qasama, he divided it among the Muslims, the warriors. So he gave them the same amount as the portion of any other man, right? Not more. So he then said that had I not heard Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam say that no, booty is divided only after the khumus, the one-fifth is retained, then I would have given it to you, meaning more than the others. I would give you more than what I gave the others. So Sayyidina Ma'an radiallahu anhu, I mean to say that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, say that a warrior can be given an extra amount, right, above his share, only from the property which is the khumus, right, from the khumus that has to be retained. So that happens only, like we said, from the spoils after battle against the kuffar, which is called Hanima, right? The spoils of booty after a fight took place, like we mentioned, right? As for the red jar, there it was five, right? So no additional amount is paid when five is divided, like we said. So this year, um, man was not given anything extra also, right? نعم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعن أبي موسى الأشعري قال قدمنا فوافقنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حين افتتح خيبر فأسهم لنا أو قال فأعطانا منها وما قسم لأحد غاب عن فتح خيبر منها شيئا إلا لمن شهد معه إلا أصحاب سفينتنا جعفر وأصحابه أسهم لهم معهم. Rahu Abu Dawud. Sayyidina Abu Musa al-Ashri radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated that we returned from Ethiopia and met Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam when we had just conquered Khaybar. He allotted to us a portion from the spoils of Khaybar. This is on right away narrated, he gave us some portion from it. But he did not give anything to any person who was not present at the conquest of Khaybar. So he gave shares from the booty only to those who were present with him at the Battle of Khaybar and to those who were in our ship, namely Ja'far radiallahu anhu and his ashab, his companions. So he says he gave to them and he gave to the others who had participated in the Battle of Khaybar. So now we find that basically Sayyid Abu Musa al-Ashari, he came to Makkah from Yemen in the beginning stages, right, of preaching of Islam, and then he embraced Islam. So then he migrated to Abyssinia, right? So where Sayyidina Ja'far ibn Abu Talib, right, and other Sahaba migrated from Makkah. So when they heard that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam now had migrated from Makkah to Medina, then they also boarded the ship and they went to Medina. So they arrived almost like simultaneously. So say فوافقنا. So, with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, at the conquest of Khaybar. So some people say they were given the shares in the spoils from Khaybar, even though they had arrived after the battle. You know? So, so because they had come before the spoils were collected and divided, right? So this is like we mentioned, according to some ulama, that there are those who hold that if a warrior does not take part in a battle, but he is present when the ghanima and the spoils is collected, right? At in other words, in the process of distribution, right? Then he too will get a share, right? With the other warriors, and this is one of the opinions of Imam Shafi. Right, as for other ulama who do not subscribe with us, yeah, they say that the grant of shares of the spurs from Khaybar was a gift, of a special kind from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And it was also obviously granted, if it was a gift, then because it's the right of every person. Remember, if it was ghanima, then it's the right of every warrior, whatever is there. So in other words, this was granted with the permission of the of the Baytullah. طيب، وعن يزيد بن خالد أن رجلا من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم توفي يوم خيبر، فذكروا لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فقال صلوا على صاحبكم، فتغيرت وجوه الناس لذلك، فقال إن صاحبكم غل في سبيل الله. ففتشنا متاعه فوجدنا خرزا من خرز يهود لا يساوي درهمين. رواه مالك وأبو داود والنسائي. Sayyidina Yazid ibn Khalid radiallahu ta'ala who narrated that a man among the companions of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam died on the day of Khaybar. So they conveyed the news to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and then he said that offer salah over your companion. So the people changed, their faces started changing when they heard that, because they understood that you would not offer the salah. Then he said that your companion was dishonest about booty in Allah's path. So they when they searched his belongings and found some beads of beads there. So they were wearing, they were wearing around the necks. So they were like worth not even basically 2 dirhams. Finish. No. Mm. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعن عبد الله بن عمر قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أصاب غنيمة أمر بلالا فنادى في الناس فيجيئون بغنائمهم فيخمسه ويقسمه. فجاء رجل يوما بعد ذلك بزمام من شعر فقال يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيما كنا أصبنا من الغنيمة؟ قال أسمعت بلالا نادى ثلاثا؟ قال نعم. فما منعك أن تجيء به؟ فاعتذر قال كن أنت تجيء به يوم القيامة فلن أقبله عنك. رواه أبو داود. سيدنا عبد الله بن Amr, that he related that whenever Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam decided to, talk about the booty, then he would command Sayyidina Bilal to announce to the people that now they Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So then he put apart the one-fifth and divided the rest among the soldiers, the warriors. So one day a man came after the division. Now those after the things were already distributed with a hot of hay, and he said, "O Nabi of Allah, so this is what came to our hands as part of the spoils." So we asked that had you not hear Bilal make the announcement how many times? Three times. Isn't so? He said that yes. So then Nabi Sallallahu asked him that what prevented you from bringing it to me. Then he put forward some excuse and for the delay. That's when Nabi Sallallahu told him that now keep that with you and bring it on the day of Qiyamah by yourself, and explain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the delay. That we mean that I shall not take it from him. This was because, obviously, like we mentioned previously also, that the right of that thing was for all the warriors and all those who partook in the battle of Khaybar. So obviously, by now they already all dispersed. That's where the announcement was made. So it will basically be impossible to give the rights to them, after they all basically had now already dispersed. So the end of the hadith. SubhanAllah, bihamdihi, la ilaha illa anta.